in that bag again. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Hey. Back in that, yeah. Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets. Just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she sliding. Tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that shit doing. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole. I'm beating it down. I'm back in that bag again. Whoa, whoa. Oh, say less. I'm back in that bag again. Yeah, yeah. Oh, say less. I'm back in that. Yeah. What you doing? Yeah. I'm back in that. Hey, where you going? Hey, back in that bag again.
It's
bring
the
me
Between
around
Two
your
Wrenches
friends. You know that I'm
podcast.
bagging them.
Epic Willys Adventure.
No, I ain't adding them. Positions I had her
Episode.
in. Hit from the back, that pussy was splattering. Calling her friend, tell her pull up. Word, let's make it a gathering. They loving that baby.
Not only starting soon,
she loving the splash again.
real live now.
Her buns, just like a wedding, I'm crashing in.
Gentlemen, oh yeah, we're live.
We're doing it?
We're live podcasting. We are live on the
We're living live.
Epic Willys Adventure Facebook page. If you are watching because you have nothing else to do on a Wednesday afternoon, feel free to comment. We can bring your comments onto the screen here, be part of the conversation as the preparations for Epic Willys Adventure 4 continue. Phil Norvold,
Hey, everybody.
Adam Schultz,
Hola.
Coop Cooper, like Madonna. That's one name.
What's it? Madonna?
Yeah.
Like Coop Cooper?
The
Madonna. The Madonna.
Well, it's only because when you have to fill out paperwork, there's two spaces, like first name,
last
Coop,
name.
last name Cooper. Yeah. The OGs of Epic Willys Adventure, the brainchild of Epic Willys Adventure, here on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Two gents sitting around thinking of, man, how can we get away? And they came up with Epic Willys Adventure years ago. So we will we'll talk about the previous years. We'll also conversate about this upcoming Epic Willys Adventure as we get set to 2 weeks from today. We depart for Butler, Pennsylvania for the Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival. And there's no pressure at all. We're going to be just fine.
It's 2 weeks?
That's pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure that next week is June.
All right.
Does anybody have a calendar? Do you have a
Sounds fine.
calendar?
Oh, it's fine.
Probably on your watch, maybe.
I just got a new watch.
There should be a calendar on that watch that tells you. You just think what day it
Wednesday
is.
the 24th.
Okay.
I only really care about today, and it doesn't say that it's the 7th of June because that's when we have to do things.
Then you're fine.
Right.
You're fine.
As of Wednesday the 24th, I am not ready to do things. But by June the 7th or whatever day,
7th, yeah.
it's going to be great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Enthusiastic.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Gearhead Coffee. Let's
Cheers.
throw those up.
Do it, cheers.
Yeah, do the things. Cheers. Oh, look at that, man! You can't buy that kind of camera coverage here. Fueled by Epic Willys Adventure 4, the Concord Cup race is fueled by Gearhead Coffee.
Yes.
Texas or Beadlock Texas Pecan will be our flavor of choice for this trip. So
I'm pretty excited about that. I had some of that.
it's very
It
good.
was very good.
Definitely.
I actually had a lot of it today.
Because you're so amped up in preparation of what is to come.
I wasn't amped up. Now I am. Very excited. Man, it's crazy to think that this is going to be EWA number 4.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. When you originally thought of this, because this was kind of Adam's idea. Like, here's what we should do. Like, it was more of like a sitting around having some beers. In theory, this sounds like a good idea.
Well,
and
Adam
then it
has
happened,
done
and
shit
then
like this forever.
Mm-hmm.
You've made really wise life decisions for a long time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it sprouted from the deuce.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. We did a similar trip in a deuce and a half. It's pretty much the same thing, only dirtier, I guess.
And less stopping.
Yeah, that was less. That has a much larger tank. So
When didn't you guys just go? Would you go straight through?
we would have like 12-hour shifts.
But
I mean, it wouldn't drive that. You would have to stop for fuel. But like, yeah,
But we
didn't stop
right. Yeah.
for breaks.
Yeah, there's no
no
breaks.
candy breaks.
Well, I'm glad we've made some changes over the years.
Upgrades.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time
Yeah,
upgrades.
yeah.
But the original Epic Willys trip was a conversation between you two that was like, we should give these old Willys a new lease on life, and why not take them down to.
Well, we were in the middle bay of the day that we decided that like I called out a date. We were working on Adam's Jeep. Mark was there too. Mm-hmm. Mark Strangfeld, Adam and I, and because of Mark and Adam were the two that would do the deuce and a half trips. And I was like secretly awfully jealous of them because they'd always talking about them, and it seemed pretty great. And over I would say the last year, it had been, oh, we should take a trip with these Jeeps, or it'd be cool to do something similar to the deuce trip. And then we were wrenching on something. I don't remember exactly what it was on yours. I think I was just drinking a beer, staring at the hood. And
I don't remember what we were doing either.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, let's do it for Jeep's 50th anniversary, or
75th.
Jeep's 75th, and for the Easter Jeep Safari's 50th, and we'll just do our first trip from Eau Claire, Wisconsin to Moab, Utah. I mean, as the story progressed, it is a way for us to remember, like, as we're building everybody else's vehicles and working on everybody else's stuff. It's definitely a way for us to remember, like, why we do what we do, but also it was just a great excuse for a pretty cool trip.
Yeah, real cool trip.
Yeah, I mean, that was 2016.
2016.
2016.
Yeah, and it started off with a bang.
I feel like that's not just a clever phraseology there. There's an actual bang took place.
Yeah, my Jeep blew up.
Yeah.
So mine was the only one that was ready.
Yeah. Real ready.
Similar to this year, by the way. Yours was the only one that was ready, like,
thanks for that, Coop.
months in advance.
Thanks for that, Coop.
You're welcome.
Yeah, matter of fact, I did go through pretty similar. I went through the engine before that trip, much before that trip, and it was running. So I was like, well, we're good to go. And I made it one day.
I need to get cam bearings
55.
and crank bearings.
55
Yep.
miles.
I brought this for this reason.
Oh, no,
Because I
that's
feel like
good.
when you talk things out, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ding.
because I'm doing the same thing right now. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be fine. I don't even need to get into the engine. I need to drop the oil pan. I need to look at my crank bearings.
I'm gonna go on the thing that, like, that won't happen twice.
A
like
big
that.
shooter rolling
Throwing
down.
that out there.
Rolling them. Let's
The
go.
universe has accepted.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Well, all right then. Yeah, I mean that first
Hey,
trip.
that's just me though. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna. Yep. I'm not gonna do a lot more than that. But Coop's in charge of all the like accoutrement in the cab, and it looks like it's pretty much ready to go, bud. So
What more do you need?
yeah, you're done.
Giant hole in the floorboard? Check. I mean, air conditioning. I get my words mixed up.
I get
sometimes.
it.
Air. That's fine. Maybe to be a little bit cooler this year because Epic 3 out west, you know, sometimes you get a little toasty out there in the desert.
Oh yeah. Oh well, and that first year was in March, and it was
Cold.
It was definitely cold. There was snow patches still on the ground. I think we made it like when we left the shop, we made it like 4 miles, and then the next 4.5 hours. How far is Rogers?
4 miles.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
like-
like we made it to about 800 feet.
We made it to the gas
fuel
station and then
someone
celebrated.
was broke.
We made it. We didn't.
And
make it.
then promptly broke down right after that with an overheating problem that persisted the entire time.
Well, actually,
And the next time.
into 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Was that a 6-cylinder or a 4-cylinder in that?
It was a 6-cylinder.
Can't remember. Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same engine as mine.
Yeah.
When does it go from 2016, like, we should do this, this is a good idea, and then you go through the obstacles and challenges of getting down to Moab some way, somehow, to like, we should do this again? Like, at what point are you like, do you make the decision that this is going to be a reoccurring offense? I mean, a reoccurring thing.
Like 4 days into that trip.
Was it
Yeah.
like, yeah, we should do this repeatedly?
Yeah.
Yep,
I think we were already talking about it on the trip.
for sure. I knew we were, and then
Yeah.
And then as we were rolling into Moab, and we had like the big photographer for Jeep, like caught us on the side of the road, and it was like, we need to do a photo shoot, and like, this is incredible. And of course we were just like, I don't know, it's cool. It's fun. Also kind of wild. So we were like, well, people seem to think it's pretty neat too. So let's plan another pretty crazy epic trip, which is when the border to border trip came up from Canada, Mexico along the Continental Divide. And that was, you know, everybody's like, well, why don't you just do this every year? And, you know, it seems to have a big following, and there's a lot of planning. that goes into all these things, and money and resources. Because if you're going to do it, you want to do it epic, but then you also don't want to take a trip of a lifetime every year, because then it doesn't feel as special, I think, because as we get older and as we have families and everything's growing, it's like there's so many things that you have to do every year. I mean, Christmas comes every December 25th.
It's consistent. Santa Claus is consistent. And Bastard's there every December 24th, knocking on the door or sliding down the chimney. No, and I think the fact that this isn't a full-time thing. This is an event that occurs every 2 years. The Super Bowl happens every year, but there's a planning committee that is constantly working on that. And there's also millions of dollars in sponsorship. So we'd like to see some of it if somebody's got some scraps laying around.
Right. Yeah.
From their Super Bowl ad they don't want to run this year. Throwing ideas out there. But yeah, to be able to do it every 2 years it's a feat in itself, because like you said, life happens. There's other businesses involved. But it tends to sneak up on us real quick.
It doesn't say June 7th.
It doesn't.
Watch.
To be fair, there was snow. Amos was buried in the snow until like a month ago.
Yeah.
So to be fair, it was near impossible. Maybe
And then
not quite that
forgot
hard to
about
get
all
out.
the things that we had to do.
Yeah.
Well, and then this year's definitely taken an interesting twist, because over the years it was just a small group of friends, and we'd have people reach out to us constantly, like, hey, how can I be involved? How can I be involved? And the idea was we'd like to just be able to inspire you to call up, a pack of your own wolves and go do something crazy. And we've heard some stories over the years that people have done just that,
Yeah, birds of a feather flock together. Yeah.
And it's been neat to hear the stories of other people's trips, and, oh yeah, we did it. And, we made it 300 miles and stopped.
Got to the hotel, called it a day.
But then you see like David Freiberger and Rick Payway, and like just a couple of like road warriors, which are like those guys are definitely an inspiration to the type of it's truly a great American road trip. But before I digress too much off on that tangent, did you hear my elbow crack there?
Yeah, is that what that was? I thought we broke a table.
Yeah.
We broke a chair again.
Oh man. Not as good as I once was. But so we open it up to the public as an event, as a competition style event, the race for the Concord Cup. So we did an application process and basically said, you've been asking for it. Now it's time to put your rig where your mouth is.
I think that was probably eye-opening maybe for all of us, was like, because you've talked about people that are like, man, I want to be able to do this. Even people we met on the side of the road on our Oregon Trail trip 2 years ago, like, this is so great. Like, next time you do one of these, when it comes time to pay the piper and be like, you want me to do what again?
Oh yeah, when the bullet hits the bone.
It's there's a little bit of a trepidation. If you
And we
will,
even
but,
shortened it up this year.
Yeah,
So
made it
it's
easier
not
on the public,
Right, make it easier because the past trips were 17 to 21 days. It's hard to get anybody's boss to say, I'll be back in a month. And thankfully, like, it's a little bit more cost effective on our end. Shutting the shop down for 3 weeks as we get bigger and bigger is more and more of a monumental feat. So it worked out for us as well. But we had quite a few interested, and then we had quite a few commit, and then we definitely lost quite a few of them as well in the shuffle. But I
think we got a good
I think so.
mix too.
I think it's, what is it, 9? I know we just looked. You just sent me the.
Yeah, it's.
I'd bring
it's
up my
8,
phone, but
8 rigs confirmed.
Yeah.
1
potential.
That's that trying to rearrange. I mean, you really have to rearrange your entire life in order to be able to be a part of this. But that I think is part of the allure. If it was easy to do, everybody would do it. That old philosophy. If you could just
Never heard that before.
No, it's the first time.
Did you coin that? It's smart. I can relate to it.
You should. This is your 4th time doing this. Somehow you're still married. You still have a business. You still have children that appreciate your existence. So yeah, kudos to you for being the person behind that phrase. But there's been 3 of these before. You guys have obviously been on all 3 of them. Are there moments that stick out as like iconic or the most memorable moments you've had from all of these trips when you look back and you say, man, to see that was really cool, or to accomplish this, or to survive that in some of the more extreme scenarios? Because you are, I mean, outside the fact that this is an amazing chance to see, parts of America that you don't get to see. I'm giving you guys a chance to think as we're
I know.
filling
I
in,
know.
watching your brains rolling out. Let me tell you a story about my childhood. But you are getting a chance to see America from a completely different perspective. But you are also it's a grind. It is an endurance test, I think, to be able to be off grid for that long and to not maybe have the applications on your phone that you used to be able to look at every day. So there has to be moments where you're like, man, that was epic. That put the definition of epic to its head.
I think that the 18 trip through the mountains was pretty good. That's gonna be hard to top, I feel like. But
driving parallel to a moose running down a fence line.
Yeah,
that was pretty wild.
I mean, all of it was good, but Glacier was awesome, and then camping out of Silverton was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
that's a great. I mean, I've been there a bunch of times, but that was really, really neat with all the people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain parts on every single one I think that are
Coalbank
different.
Pass. I don't know if it was the first trip or the second trip. No, it was the first trip because of the way that we came up Coalbank to Silverton. I just remember grabbing gears in Amos with the stack, and just for whatever reason that memory like sticks with me as just rounding these corners in this just old pickup truck that just felt like it belonged right there in the mountains. I think that was when I was like, man, I could see, buying a little chunk of land and a little solar battery charger and just parking Amos here, and he lives here now.
There were a lot of those moments, though. I think on the trip I was on 2 years ago, every different part of the country you go to, because you had your hearts. I'm not sure if it was Wyoming or Montana. You were like, man, if I ever, this would be the place. Yeah. We crossed into 4 different states, and it was like, well, like who knew Idaho was that beautiful?
I know.
When you cross over into Idaho, there's so many different places in the country.
Sawtooth Mountains, where that was a pretty cool story. Because, like, again, nothing memorable comes from comfort or easiness. Waking up after a really interesting night on the shores of the North Platte River, it to a rainstorm in a bedroll, getting downpoured on, that's Tyler screaming is a sound I'll never forget. But I was thinking about, we came into Three Forks, Idaho, I think it was, and there was there's a little like in-town campground, but we stopped for fuel, and we were asking a couple of locals, hey, do you guys know anywhere?
We were going to camp on the river.
We were going to camp right on the river, but right in the town there.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, do you got anything, like, do you know any place cooler? Because there's a lot of BLM land around there. What was his name? I probably it's written,
whatever it was. It probably wasn't his real name.
It's written on that water cooler.
He's changed that many times.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we are the only ones that know his true identity. I feel like he felt pretty comfortable with us.
It did take a little bit of
He took us
brown liquor
45 minutes to an hour.
In the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. And it was like
all the way.
Pavement to dirt road.
Some guy's creepy work truck.
Yeah.
And his
might
poor
as well
dog.
have candy in it.
That dog, man. If that dog could talk, the stories it would tell that he was hauling along with him, I'm like, man.
Oh, yeah.
Survivor.
And yeah, he had a little fifth with something. It was tequila.
Yep.
Yep.
Little nips of tequila.
And he drank all that, and he's like, hey, do you mind if I crash here? And we were like, please do. Please.
Over there.
Yeah, right.
I think Tyler slept with a shotgun.
Yeah, I think he did.
Pretty sure he
Cuddled
did.
up in very close proximity.
But it was a beautiful campsite.
It was awesome. Yeah, he ended up being a really nice guy. Mm-hmm. I definitely wouldn't have ever talked to him if I wasn't in that situation.
Yeah, if he's a random guy you run into, happen to go into your local
walk the
grocery
other
store, you're like, yeek.
Right.
But if you're 4 days without a shower, 4 days without any water to clean your body. Like, yeah.
And if you've realized that you really shouldn't be in any towns
No.
with the company that you're keeping,
No.
the furthest away from civilization, the better. Yeah. So I'm curious to know what the East Coast is going to have, because there is no BLM land, or at least not in the same regard. There's a lot more people, but the route that we're going is definitely in more isolated areas. But the roads are just so different. Like which I feel like they're more like the mountain roads, through the Continental Divide than anything else, because they're not long and straight. That's for sure.
Yeah, we were kind of looking for a theme to put behind this trip. Obviously Oregon Trail is an easy one. The Continental one is you're traveling basically from 2 continents. This one's like, well, the Tea Party, American, the Vikings, like New York.
I'm sticking a goddamn feather in my hat. I know that.
Paul Revere.
Yankee Doodle
Dandy. Oh man. But yeah, I think we'll encounter a lot of different perspective on this trip.
Yeah.
And a great crew that we're excited to get a chance to hang out with. And Bantam Jeep Heritage Fest has been great to work with. They're really rolling out the red carpet for us to come out and have our own encampment out there, which will be just fascinating.
Oh yeah,
that's
a great way to put that.
Don't feed the monkeys at the zoo.
Right.
Don't
It's
pick
a
on the
living
glass.
exhibit.
It really is. That'll be interesting.
No, and well, I don't just
It is. It will be interesting. We've camped there before. I don't
Yes,
know.
we have.
Yeah, and the
remember.
people come in quite early,
Oh yeah,
so it should be interesting
yeah.
to see.
We might be up kind of late, and they might be waking
to
us
just
up.
walk right through the.
Do they
camp.
just throw popcorn at us? Hey, are those wax figures? No.
Scurry out and grab a handful of popcorn and
Right.
hiss at them. Go back to your exhibit until after 11 when the doors open.
But what better place to have an Epic Willys Adventure than the birthplace of this whole Jeep movement? For those of you that don't know, Butler, PA is where the Bantam Jeep or the Bantam Corporation, who was the one that won the bid for the war vehicle, the general purpose vehicle that soon became Jeep. They soon had to hand it off to Willys, but it was right there where it started.
Randy Schultz, Johnny Appleseed.
Hey, if you need a hat,
Yeah. Oh, a big pot.
big pot on your head, that's what it was. Hi, Wendy.
That fits well.
Thanks for watching. Again, if you're watching on our Facebook page, you can jump in on the comments. I got some likes coming across the board here, so that's cool to see. This will also be released as a podcast and as a video on our YouTube channel for both Max-Bilt and for Epic Willys Adventure. So looking forward to that. And you guys are going to be presenting, by the way, if you knew that already, at Bantam Jeep Heritage Fest to talk about Epic Willys Adventure and kind of a lot of the same stuff. So maybe this is a good refresher course to get you prepared for that, because it is 2 weeks away. Friendly reminder.
You don't think we're doing well?
I think you're doing great.
I think
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right,
But this is like,
Didn't we write a
we have a
script for that?
Oh,
It's more of an act.
Yeah.
in full costume. Mm-hmm. We'll be a part of all the things at Bantam, so that'd be exciting.
Yeah, we're
Going
gonna be
downtown.
running
Light bar thing.
Light bars and brews.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need to get a light bar, maybe.
I have a lantern.
Yeah, that'll be great. I was thinking maybe like a treble light.
Candle.
Yeah.
Just
That'd be
wear.
good.
Yeah.
Just- One if by land, two if
By sea, there it is.
Oh,
See, I knew we'd make an appearance. That
the
Paul
red coats are coming.
The candle idea. I think we actually have some of those big pillar candles you put into a thing. We mount that on in front of Amos.
Yeah.
It's got plenty of places.
Yeah, there's the plow mount.
With the glove that still exists there from.
Yeah, what was it for?
We found it in a parking lot.
I know, but I needed it often to
You
be able
did
to.
you used it a lot, but
We'll
it's
use it for cooking.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
lifting the
Yeah,
cast
for
iron.
lifting the
Yeah,
cast,
cast
iron
iron.
pans. Which this year we have a camp chef.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited
Cookie
about.
Chris.
yeah, Cookie
Yeah,
Chris.
Cookie Chris. Ooh, did that just happen?
I think. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. I mean,
copious.
Adam's like,
snacks.
I've been thinking that this whole time. I guess.
Yeah, well,
Way to keep
I used
up.
to be called Cookie on the other trips. So
Yeah,
So the torch
Krista
has been
Frizzle
passed.
Yeah.
and Izzle Fishizzle will be.
Yeah, representing for
cooking.
exploring and their camp cooking awesomeness. So he'll be following around. That's another thing that's a little bit different this year. Usually we have no support vehicle. We are completely self-sufficient, including food and cooking. But being that we've opened it up and we've got teams and people they've got some skin in the game. So we wanted to kind of roll the old City Slickers vibe to us. And
Give them a little bit of a safety net.
right. Yep.
Don't feel like these yahoos doing what?
So we've got we will have a truck and trailer that'll follow us along just in case. But
out of sight.
out of sight. That's right. Yeah. We'll just leave 2 hours after us and drive 20 miles an hour and you won't catch anybody.
Or
Don't
30
worry.
miles an hour and 5 minutes ahead of us.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, that's what you could do is just drive ahead. Oh, man. Yeah. So let's go through. So, yeah, we'll have that. And then we'll also have my wife and Missy, who documented the first 2 trips, did not come on the third one, but she'll be back on the fourth one, helping Heather gather content and kind of manage the points system, because now, like I said, it's a race. But being that we couldn't do it really as a timed race because they're all slow, and we still wanted to be able to enjoy evenings and not just have it, well, the first one to camp wins. We thought, it would be a great way to do it, kind of like a scavenger hunt, gathering pictures and or artifacts from key places along the route is how you gain points. And it just means that your vehicle's running kind of top notch and is able
Running.
is running.
Top notch.
Well, yeah,
That's
your vehicle
real
is
specific.
running.
It's really setting the bar right there. I don't know if we can do that.
Yeah, and you can afford the time to kind of go out of your way to gather some of these extra little tidbits. And the one with takes the most risks wins the coveted Concord Cup, I guess.
And we've seen pictures of the
now
infamous Concord Cup.
It is. It's
lights
quite
up.
Yeah.
It doubles as a
Desk
drinking-
lamp.
desk lamp, and a drinking mechanism of some sort.
chalice.
Multi-purpose. It's a chalice.
It's a challenge. It's a
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend filling it up while it's plugged in with the light on
Hey,
it.
I thought we were taking chances here. Those who take chances win the race.
There's the risks we were talking about.
You get a support vehicle, but also
Right.
there's no EMT. Nobody here has medical training, so you're out of luck.
I was saying, is that a list of the people that are going?
No, this is a list of the sponsors that are
Oh, well, hey, sponsors.
a part of it. So obviously, we did talk about Gearhead Coffee. Thanks to Jeff and his wife Chantel for hooking us up. We'll be fueled by Gearhead Coffee throughout our trip, and they supplied the shop too, which is nice.
Yeah.
We're seemingly
We're out though, so we drank it all.
Wow. We should talk to people. Woo.
Yikes.
Jeepster
Shaking
Man.
so fast, I'm not shaking.
Jeepster Man, Johnny will be on the trip
Yes.
along with us. So thanks to him. Definitely when you are rolling in these vehicles, it's not like, these parts are just available anywhere you go. And they kind of need some folks that have a specific niche of parts and accessories. And Jeepster Man, Crown Automotive, definitely the two that have come to the table for Epic. And not just this year, but years past. So thanks to those guys for their support and being on board this year.
Absolutely.
Well, we definitely wouldn't make that without.
Well, yeah, no, that's
This would be just
Those are required. Also,
yeah. I mean, they're not the only ones, but they're definitely the ones that we choose to put into our rigs, because there's things are few and far between. But then we do have advance for the when it's, well, this is broken and nobody has it and nobody can make it. So what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to scour this Advance Auto Parts.
Find
and
something that'll work.
We're going to find something that's going to work. So, and we've always been able to find something to make it work there.
And there'll be a plethora of TechNet shops throughout the course of our travels. We're actually aligning with those places. So if we do need shop access, which we had on
Absolutely.
the last
Yeah.
Epic. I remember it was bad gas, wasn't it? That was what kind of
Yeah.
curbed
Yeah.
everybody on day
in
2.
the same town.
In the same town.
We were
from the
going
same
to
pump.
visit. We had a buddy, Jared, and we were going to check out his shop just to say, hey, because we were blowing right through Red Cloud, Nebraska. And
Yep.
if you know where Red Cloud, Nebraska is, you know that you don't just happen to drive by it.
You're there on purpose.
So as we come into the east side of town, and there's a little co-op, and everybody's like, oh, we've been driving a long time. We better put some fuel in there. So we all top off. But I think I put 91 in.
I think everyone put 91 in,
And
but like 2.
right.
people.
And those 2 people were fine.
Yeah.
And that was was it after that, or when did you mention you were like,
I run 87 every time.
but was that why? Because that happened in Mondovi once to you?
Mm-hmm.
That like, oh, the
No one
higher-
uses the 91 in the small towns where we are, so it's old.
Yeah,
And
it's bad
got water
fuel.
in
Yeah.
it.
And everybody, like, we got a block away, and it was just like, everybody was, and even when it's just bad gas, when your vehicle starts running like that, it could happen every 75 miles, and you're like, fuck it,
It's over.
it's over. Motor's junk,
Done.
man. I can't believe it. And then
Made
it's
it to
like
Nebraska.
you look at the fuel filter, and you're like, what's that big bubble? Looks like air in there. Oh, it's water. Oh, that's why it's running like crap.
He called the owner of the gas station
Yeah.
to like be like, hey, you got to shut your pumps off.
Yep,
And they
just
went
so-
like bagged it right then.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely was bad gas, but it was cool because, like I said, they just flung the doors open.
Yeah.
Let
That's
us
small
take
town
over the
hospitality
shop.
too. Not only the phone call to the gas station owner, like, hey, Jim, you got to do something about this. And he goes and takes care of it. But yeah, it was because it was a weekend, wasn't it? It must have been a weekend because they weren't open.
Yeah.
It was after hours. It was not,
Something.
or was just
It was
small
a
town.
Friday afternoon, and I remember the parts store was shut down because Jared was out of town, and the shop owner, Jared, not only owned the only shop in town,
Right.
he also owned the parts store
That's what
in
it was.
town.
Yeah, there was
And
reasons
so-
that things were closed.
Kyle was hanging down at the shop, keeping things in order down there. And when we popped in, we were like, help. He came down a block away, mind you,
Right.
to the parts store, opened it up, and we rated that CarQuest top to bottom, and then went over to the shop and then left Red Cloud, Nebraska after a quick little fuel up and some tacos. No. The tacos came after my wheel fell off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Frontier medicine
Like
wheel.
six minutes later, we left town, and then, oh, what's that? That's weird. Cooper, look out the window. Is that wheel doing anything funny?
Nope, seems just fine. Let's keep going. No,
Until we
did stop.
couldn't.
We stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We stopped. That's where we saw the ditch marijuana
Yes.
randomly.
And not just like a little bit of it. It
Yeah,
was-
like 8-foot tall plants, and we're just like, that didn't really expect to see that. Let's get out of here, Phil. Just drill some holes through your wheel and bolt it together with a 3/8
and
bolt.
let's be clear. Some of you were like, let's get out of here. Others were like, hey, take your time, bro. It's good. Somebody go get some tacos, man. We're going to be here a minute.
Also, yeah, that was when Pat whipped around and went and got
100 tacos.
100 tacos. They were in like one of those
Pizza boxes. Yeah.
24-inch, diameter pizza boxes, 2 of them. And I got the wheel on, and
We
we
fixed your wheel.
Made
We
it.
left.
Yeah.
And
Another
we were
time.
like, well, he didn't show up. Well, he'll catch up.
And then my brakes
And then you
went out.
broke again.
My brakes
And then
went
he
out.
caught up and we ate
Oh
the
my god!
tacos.
And that was everybody was eating tacos, and I'm down the road like an eighth of a mile, laying underneath my Jeep. Car.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, does anybody? Can I help you? No, this is fine. I'll do it. It's stupid. Oh my gosh! I
Using a
love it.
cooler to keep it upright because the jack stand wasn't working properly. I'm like, this is safety at its finest.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go have a taco or two.
Oh man, that was a good time.
Yeah, and that was like, what, 2 days in, 3 days in? I mean, that was early on. But it's the first couple of days where you really run out the bugs,
The kinks.
get them out of the system for the most part.
Well, that's, we've tried to take everything into effect that we've learned over the previous 3 trips for this trip, especially to condense it down to like shorter time, and then say we're gonna allow X amount of time on the road. I mean, we're saying 200 miles a day, leaving by 10 a.m., back to camp by 4 p.m. And then we may have some adjustments on that yet, but we're dialing in some more of the route, some of the extra credit stuff. But then also 200 miles a day doesn't seem like a lot until you average 34 miles an hour or 36 miles an hour, whatever it is. Then it's like, oh, well, yeah, like 10 hours is 350 miles. Yep, sure is. Yeah. So
and that's without any breakdowns. That's
I mean, I think
major breakdowns.
Right.
Major.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No naps in the side of a cornfield, which may or may not have happened several times on the OT trip.
Oh man,
how long are we going to be here? A while.
I'm excited for the tinfoil meals.
A while
too. You know, the old little
manifold meals.
Manifold meals. What's up, Stanley?
Do you have a Stanley cam? Let's see if we move in on you. I bet you we can get
Stanley cam.
Oh, Stella cam.
There's Stella.
Stella cam.
Oh wait.
Left is right. Right is left.
Stella.
No, she's not having any of it.
No.
She's asleep.
But then we do have one day that's over 300 miles too. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because our return trip is back to the Butler area. We'll have a big welcome back party, which should be fun. It'll be interesting because we'll have been on the road for 7 days, and the people there will just have coming from their house.
Right.
On a Saturday afternoon, probably took a shower that day. All sorts of ridiculousness.
Ridiculousness.
No, there's no hotel stops on this one, so there'll be no ridiculousness.
Sorry, Rob. Sorry, Rob.
Inside joke, unless you're inside of that circle. I apologize for that.
Yep.
And then then we'll crown a winner of the Concord Cup. So we're excited to get all the guys out and the first timers as well. I was proud to not be one this year. Danny from the shop is going to be out there. He's
Danny from the shop.
I'm still Danny from the shop. Yeah. I was singing Danny Boy to him today, the old Irish hymnal Danny Boy, and he just looked at me like a monkey doing a math problem. And I was like, "You never heard this song before?" He's like, "No."
He's like 18.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Just got his license, just learning to drive. Yeah. But he's got a little bit of work to do before he's ready to.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to get his engine back this week, maybe or next.
We should probably call on that.
Yeah, that'll probably be good. Yeah.
The mock-up was good, though.
So. Yeah. Thankfully, we had a few extra engine blocks laying around. Hopefully, it's similar.
Yeah, if you're not following along on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, you're obviously here. But some great content of the grind that is the last 2 weeks to get ready for Epic. For those who wait for the last 2 weeks to get ready.
Yeah.
Some people out there are just driving their vehicles from La Crosse and
That's
taking
weird.
them on Jeep cruises on a random Saturday afternoon. Whatever. Pat Peterson.
Yeah. Well, and Pat was talking about driving it out there.
I did hear rumors that there's going to be some customization of Old Smoky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which not be like, oh, we should make sure that we have all the right tools and proper. No, to make sure that they have the provisions of, Jameson and
it's a lifestyle,
Zing
bro.
Zang and Tito's, priorities, I guess.
That's right. Well, I mean, we're going to need that place when we're fixing all our vehicles sitting around the fire. Need a place to go wet the whistle. So,
Very excited.
Smoky. It's going to be the place.
Also might not be so smoky.
Yeah. It's still a little smoky, though.
Okay, good. I mean, he was going through a case of oil a day.
Yeah.
On the last trip, so.
See, I think he said like 6 quarts per fill up.
It's impressive.
Yeah, like he had to. So that was when he was like, "Well, I have to stop in between fill ups of fuel and put oil in it." Yeah.
This is one of those the ends justify the means things. So if he really just wanted to have more provisions in the back of Old Smoky, he's like, well, I guess if I don't have to have all that oil in the back,
yeah, because
you have to leave with 12 cases.
Yeah, when you have 12
oil.
cases, you're like, man, it's also the exact same size as 12 cases of Jameson. Same size.
He was bartering towards it because we had all gotten cases of oil on the last trip, and he took all of them. One person did an oil change, and he took all the rest of that oil, and he still had to buy some.
Yeah,
that's a lot of oil, man. And I get he said that the engine was extremely scored. The pistons, piston walls were very, very scored.
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah. But he also said that he ran the same size pistons in it. So we wonder how it got done so fast.
I see.
Yeah, it sounds like they ball honed it and put new rings in it.
Perfect.
Called it a day. So, part of me wonders if that's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, but it didn't lock up yet. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But maybe this will just be even better for it.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Phil is on board, obviously. Myself, you and I, and Amos. Adam and Steve. Steve is back. Steve was on the first
Back
two.
again.
Yep.
First two. So
first
he's
two.
returning for your number 4 in the rusty trombone. Scott Gilbert is back. The RT, for those of you who want to keep it PG for the kids. Right. It's a family show.
Don't Google that.
Don't Urban Dictionary that is what he's saying. Google all you want.
Yeah,
Urban
yeah,
Dictionary
sure.
pops up. You're like, oh. Hey.
Got it.
Yeah. Somebody actually asked me about that when we were at one of our travels. They're like, oh, what's the name of that Jeep there? And I was like, oh, it's the rusty trombone. They're like, oh, do you know what that means? I'm like, would you like a beverage? I would like to buy you a drink.
Could I interest you in a center console? I'd like to talk to you about Max-Bilt and all their products.
How about some Trail Tales? That sounds like a good idea. Scott Gilbert is back. Dr. Gonzo back this year.
Yep.
Trip 2.
He will be on trip number 2.
Rider, though. Right?
He's a
riding?
rider this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
No gold bond.
No gold bond.
That's right. What are they in 2A?
Yep.
Yeah.
All decaled up. It looks like vintage race.
That looks cool.
It's
They
super
also
cool.
have driven that a ways because they went to
Yeah.
the Willys reunion
In Toledo.
in Toledo, and
Using up all the miles it's got in it. Yeah.
Did they drive it from Madison?
yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's got another couple thousand in it. I mean, it's probably fine.
How many miles was that?
Living on the edge.
Dialed in.
That would have been 400 miles. Yeah. Well,
Quite a journey.
also good thing that nobody gets GPS and we get to go to Spaghetti USA. Left, right. 0.8 miles. Hang a left.
Yeah.
Hang a right. Hang a left. Hang a
You see
right.
those racing videos? That's what it's going to be like.
It's a race. It's the video game.
Left 2. Straight.
Yeah.
Right
A
1.
lot of this. Who else do we have on? Jonah Hodgkins is back. Him and
Yep.
and
John.
John from Jeepsterman on board as well. Pat Peterson we talked about. Price coming with. I did hear that he will bring some tools along with. Tools of
Excellent.
the trade.
Excellent.
If we need to be cleaned up in an exclusive.
He's the
sort of
barber,
way. Yeah. He's
in case you're wondering.
I like how you're trying to be super elusive. And then Adam's just like, he's the barber. Well, yeah, we
Nothing
were
is safe.
getting there.
Nothing is safe. Nothing is sacred around here. I'll let you know. Who else do we have on? We talked about Danny. Danny's bringing a buddy of his along.
Colton, I think, right? Sure.
Army
Yeah.
or a guy that was in the army, getting out, doing things. I'm just secondhand story, so
No, it sounds like you really know a lot about it.
I'm doing my diligent research.
Is that mine?
Cool.
It's definitely yours.
Look at the video.
Looks like Phil is having a little bit of a breakdown here. It's
The
fine.
dog's
By the way,
freaking out.
it's your sister calling. I hope it's not an emergency. She's probably trying to plan.
Doesn't she watch this? How
Does she
she
know?
doesn't know we're live right now?
Man.
Oh, Joe drove 1,400 miles. Scott's on.
Oh,
he's
that's
on the
it?
thing.
Only 1,400?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. These guys.
Oh, well. Scott, I hope you're a good navigator.
Gonna be fine.
That thing's got to have an overdrive, too. It also, I do believe that it's going to be an easier trip because you don't have to worry about anybody other than yourself.
It's going to be real easy.
I think so, too.
No problems.
No.
Yeah, there's no teamwork. There's no like I'm gonna help you out. It's like every team for themselves.
Right.
Real sense of unity, which I love.
Jeez.
You have to wait.
Where was that input a year ago?
My input a year ago is we should do it again, and you're like, nope, not doing that again. I was like, all right, I'll give you 8 months to figure it out. 3 nights in the ditch, epic style.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
see,
right.
that's preparation.
That's right.
That's preparation. Did I forget anybody? I think was that 8?
Austin Lee.
Austin Lee,
Austin Lee,
yep, and
yep.
his wife.
Yep.
They have maybe the coolest rig. On
It
the
is
trip.
pretty awesome.
Like it would have been perfect for For
It's
the
very
Oregon Trail
Conestoga wagon-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the wagon on. Are you going to do that? You had talked about like
I'm
stealing his
jealous.
idea.
For that Foot Locker box.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I realized that I had 2 aluminum Foot Locker boxes that I'm going to use instead, because then it's done.
They don't have to do anything more
Right.
than already needs to be done.
Yeah. I should probably waterproof my bedroll again. Are you going to waterproof yours this time?
I mean, the blue tarps are nice.
Could you imagine? Well, just listening to that all night.
The tarp?
Yeah. Did you have a blue tarp?
No, I didn't have a tarp last time. My bag was wet.
Yeah.
Pretty
But you
much.
sleeping underneath?
the
You were
entire
sleeping underneath
trip.
yours for a couple
Well,
of
yeah,
days, right?
that was fine, except for that the canvas tarp that I had as like a lean-to off the side of my Jeep
Yeah.
was only like 5 feet long. So either my feet got soaking wet or my head.
Right.
So I chose the feet,
I mean, naturally.
which, yeah, then they got stinky.
Things-
Oh, yeah. Trench
So,
foot.
yeah, it was just, yeah. Well, I usually have clothes hanging off of something flapping in the
Yeah.
wind. I feel like pretty much every trip.
As
So
long as the
it
hammers are
wasn't
secure, I don't care. Fine. As long as we're not losing hammers.
Dropping it.
Well, we got Sean.
I got a bag of
Yeah.
hammers.
Sean Annis. Northwoods Brew
Oh,
Pub.
please. Oh, yes.
Powered by Northwoods Brew Pub and Walter's Beer.
Yes.
Sean Annis will be on board as. Nobody is as mystical and skeptical of in
He
conversation.
sent me a picture today
Of what?
of,
I can.
of
semi-truck?
a red truck
oh,
Okay.
that looks like a Willis with really nice rims on it.
Okay.
Also, have you heard of Google? Like,
Oh no!
I'll give
You
a
could
picture of
tell
whatever you want.
he didn't have a newspaper in there, like like proof of life.
He
But
didn't Marty McFly it.
but and then the whole background of whatever shop or garage is it, he mark out blacked it all out, so I couldn't see. It was like a really crappy Photoshop cutout of just the truck. Like he
They
didn't want
have
my
that
attention
feature
to
on
go.
the iPhone now. You don't even have
Yeah,
to do that.
right.
You just hold the thing.
So I don't really know exactly what's going on there, but I'm excited to see him and Yukon Cornelius will be coming on the trip too. So let's count that out. We've got how many CJs? 2 CJs?
3.
Who's the third one?
Jonah's got a B.
Oh yeah, so that's right. So Adam, Gold Bond, or Dr.
Joe.
Gons, and Joe technically.
Joe.
And then Jonah, and then 4 trucks, mine, Danny's, Sean's, Austin's, and then the wagon. We had quite the smorgasbord. I do want to build a 2A though.
Epic 2025.
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
You're
now?
not built for a 2A. You're too tall.
What like a
His
3?
head sticking out.
Yeah.
Maybe a
B,
3.
maybe.
Lower seat.
Yeah. A wagon. I want to do a wagon.
Well,
Are we already planning
what
E-
sounds like
E5?
E5. I mean, that's got to be that's a
E5 and 25?
Mexico.
E5 and 20 arriba.
Viva.
Epic
La
de
Mexico.
I mean, it has,
Cinco de Drinko. Is that what I heard? That's what I heard.
yeah, I don't know. There was conversation too around us doing another trip from Bantam, which might be kind of cool to do a 2-year, kind of hang out.
2-year
with those.
deal. 2-year contract.
2-year partnership.
Yeah.
Bantam. Here's looking to you.
Wherever your camera is.
Yeah.
Would you go south?
I would think
go-
so. Like Appalachian.
West Virginia?
Like coast, like Florida.
Oh man, West Virginia, we could have. I mean,
Hit the
that's
point.
like this could be like Survivor.
all the way to the point. That'd be a pretty special trip if we went from Bantam. Also, we didn't call
It's
it the
the-
lame Willys Adventure, did we?
Yeah, I tried that line with you last year. It didn't work. I shouldn't say that. It worked for like 36 hours, and you're like, no. So I'm like, let's do it again this year. You're like, no. I'm like, well, they don't call it it's called the Epic Willys Adventure, not the lame Willys Adventure. You're like, fine, we'll do it again. And 36 hours later, you're like, just shut up. Don't talk to me. Don't come over there.
I need to
with
make
stupid
sure
ideas.
that we have a business to come back to. also.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Well, if we're stuck in West Virginia, man, nothing to worry about.
Oh, there's that. I think it'd be cool to see like the coastline of Georgia and all that kind of down through there. Hit Dragon's Tail in the old Willys.
Yeah, it'd be something.
It would be. It would be. I don't know.
Thanks, Wendy.
Hi.
Updates,
Hello,
yeah.
Mom.
Again, follow us on all the social media pages, and we'll have constant updates about our progress getting out to Bantam in a couple of weeks, and then throughout the course of the duration of that trip. Anything else, fellas?
I'm trying to think. You know, it's like such a beast having. This is year 4. So many stories, so many whatever. I feel like we could do a whole hour podcast just on each one of the trips. But I think this was a good overview on what it is, what it's all about, and who's going to be there. So
yeah, there's a lot of people who look at this, outsiders that look at this and they're like, wow, this is, how cool is it, the fact that you get to have the opportunity to get to do this? And you kind of mentioned that being an inspirational point to other people where you're like, yeah, like you can do this. Like you can get your boys together, get your family together and go out and see all these things. Because the one thing that I noticed going on the trip, 2 years ago was everybody talks about like overcrowding, these big cities. And we just got back from Philadelphia last week, and you're in a city of 1.5 million people. And it's grass is few and far between. And usually that's reserved for the George Washington Monument areas where they put actual grass. But when you get out into, especially out west and the places that we're going out east this year, there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space in this country to go out and appreciate. So get out of the comfort of having a Starbucks at every corner.
Right.
But if Starbucks wants to throw us some money, I'll tell you what.
We'll find them.
I'm
pretty happy with Gearhead
I don't
Coffee.
think we want that.
Yeah, we're definitely good with Gearhead Coffee and being fueled by them this year. So exciting.
Yeah. No, I think
Countdown is
that
on.
a thought to kind of leave it with too is there's a lot of I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting older and I'm listening more, or I hear more of political debates or whatever, and where the country's at, and it isn't what it used to be, and yada yada yada. But I would suggest that you just get out and see for yourself, because it's a pretty awesome place, and hitting the back roads, taking time away from the interstate, and getting to slow down and really roll through those small towns where you get to kind of get the snapshot of the character and the hospitality of this pretty awesome country. It's a special place.
And nothing forces you to slow down more than driving an old Willys. You're left without many options.
Can't wait to break down.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to do something like that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
No, coming at you from the roadside.
EpicWillysAdventure.com is the website.
From the back, that pussy was splattering. Calling her friend, tell her pull up. Word, let's make it a gathering. They
I
loving
said,
that
baby,
baby.
nah, I'm Matic now, but she loving the splash again. I just be cashing in her buns, just like a wedding, I'm crashing in. Hundreds on hundreds, I'm moving and grooving. She wanna cut up, I'ma slash again. Buckets on buckets, I'm swishing addition. Back in my bag, going back again.
I feel like Aladdin, yeah. I'm on the carpet, flying through orbits, ain't doing no talking. Wow. They on my body as soon as I walk in, bitches be stalking. They loving the drip, they think I'm a force, it gotta move cautious. Back in my duffel, I'm working a double like I'm in the office.
Tell 'em to watch it, nah, I ain't talking